This is the blade, and viewed from the top, we want it to run clockwise. That's the way it's set up. That's the center mount. You can see that. So this rotor arm has a softened edge. One side's somewhat softer, this side's square. So we want this side running clockwise. This rotor arm, first we're going to put 2 lock washers on these bolts. We're going to use 2 flat washers. We want the flat washers so we don't over compress the plastic. Also, I'm using Phillips head so that we don't over tighten these. Go ahead and slide this through. I'm going to slide through here. Now we want a star washer, if you can see that. It's got little nibs on it, kind of sharp little points. You want this on the adjustment bolt. Because you wanted a blade that you could adjust the angle, this is a little more complicated. You see this has a larger hole. That'll allow you that angle adjustment. This one's a fixed hole, so it's pivoting around that, and we can angle it. Okay, so that's going to go on there. And we want this flat washer on here. If you can see that, we want this flat washer here to take up the same amount of space as the star washer. So go ahead and slide that on. And then we're going to put a flat washer on both of those, again to protect the plastic from the nuts gouging the plastic. Put our nut on. I do this on a carpeted floor, just keeps things a little safer. Now the pivot bolt, you can get it just hand tight for now. Okay, now that we've got those on, loose, you see the adjustment there we can get. Give you this little template. And I'll slide over there, and we can get our angle adjustment. Okay, so that fits on that wing. Now that black line is going to line up right dead center through those bolts. I would say that's a little better indicator of the angle. Now I set these at about 7 or 8. So if you can see this, we've got marks here. If you go all the way to the extreme, as far as it'll go, it's about 8. It's the way it's set up. So if I tighten that down, that's what I would recommend as a start point, but you can kind of play around with it. Just use a little wrench on the back. Now that's tight enough I can kind of move this and put it in the position I want. I'm going to check again. I want that 8 degrees. So I'll have to adjust that and get that tight. Okay, so if you can see in here, once I tighten this, that star washer is going to bite into both sides of plastic, and I've tried it, and it holds real well even in strong winds. So go ahead and get that tight. The next thing you're going to do, you can see these blade tips. This is actually called a blood knot. It's a fisherman's tie. So these are going to come already done. What I want you to do is get this square, and you can lay it on the floor. take a T-square and make sure this wire is nice and straight. And come up here and put, I don't know if you can see this, but I would put 2 full turns, or maybe 3. So you're going to get that straight. Now I'm going to go 3 full turns, give it a little twist, and that's going to support the blade tip from the pressure outward. Because if you don't have this this guy wire here, what will happen is all the pressure is right in here, trying to force this blade out, and it puts all the pressure here. With this guy wire, it spreads the load. So we're going to get both of these on and make sure we're square. And ideally these wires would come with swaged ends that are pre-measured. And then when you're satisfied that everything's square, go ahead and tighten this up, and that'll pinch those wires, okay? And then you're set. Now all you have to do is take this out when your turbine's ready. When your alternator's set up outside. Just go ahead and you're going to bolt in 2 places, here and here. Alright, so we're going to use these 1/4-20 bolts. Put a lock washer on first, and a flat washer. It'll look like that. And this is how we're going to attach to the alternator. And again, the reason for the Phillips is that we're tightening plastic onto aluminum with steel bolts, and the steel would win if you overdid it. So with a big Phillips screwdriver and a lock washer, you'll get plenty tight. As soon as the lock washer is cinched, it's not going to come apart. Okay, so when you're all done, you may need to slightly adjust these guy wires to keep this blade straight, but I haven't really had a problem with it. These blades actually are slid onto the spars. The blade tips bolt on, cinch this whole thing together. Basically the foam is squeezed onto those spars. There's no adhesive on this plastic. This is just a press fit with the foam into it. And the only thing with the foam is I damage them more in the house and working on them. Like when I put them on a table to sand them, I put them on a lumpy table and I got some dents in them. I actually think they're better off up. I think you're safer outside. Anyway, that's how you put it together.